Hey, welcome back to That Track channel. Today we are up at Gimli Motorsports Park with the new purchase, the C6Z, and we're here to find out how it does on the road course. Now, I have a couple feelings or thoughts in my head already as to how I think it's gonna do, but I'm just here to kind of confirm that. So, being a Corvette, these cars are typically known for overheating. So I feel like that's gonna be one of the weaknesses out the gate is probably heating problems. This car does have a stock rad. It doesn't have an oil cooler upgrade or anything like that. So I feel like that's gonna be a big struggle. The other struggle I feel like we're gonna have with a car like this is getting this thing stopped. It does have big brakes. It's got 0-1 brakes on it, but it doesn't have tires. We're running a 280 treadwear tire up front, and it's just not a big tire. It's a 275 tire. And I have a feeling I'm gonna have way more brake than I am tire, meaning this thing's gonna be really hard to stop. But you know what? Don't be going anywhere. We're gonna find out right away. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, here's the car in question. So this is a 2007 Corvette Z06. So I just wanted to show you guys what we're working with here. So as I said, we have big 0-1 brakes. Those are two-piece rotors. Those are racing brake rotors. They're a company that makes a iron conversion for ZR1, so you're not running carbons. And as I said, we're running those front and rear. So we got big brakes. We're running a 325/30/19 in the back, a 275/30/19 up front, and front grip, as I said, is probably where we're going to struggle. The car does have Viking coilovers on it, and it's got some aftermarket goodies as well. For those that haven't seen this car or even knew that I bought it, it is obviously a 7-liter. It's a 427 cubic inch motor. It's got heads cam. It's got a Texas Speed Stage 2 cam in it. It's got PRC 245 CFM heads, Cook's headers, Borla exhaust, and an MSD Atomic Air Force intake manifold. Let's actually take a look at that right now. So here's a look under the hood. Oh yeah, and a Haltech intake. So intake manifold, headers, full exhaust, and as I said, heads cam. The other cool thing with these cars is these were the first Vettes that came dry sump. So C5s weren't dry sump, they were wet sump, but the C6s were the first ones that came with a dry sump setup. All right, guys, that's enough talking from me. Let's go take this thing for a few laps. First laps ever here at Gimli Motorsports Park, and see how this car does.
This is Gimli, Manitoba, Gimli Motorsports Park, and it's a 1.2 mile track, 8 turns. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is my home track.
Well, guys, first impressions, time to complain. So first and foremost, I'm a mile off of pace. So normally with my ZL11 LE that I had before, I'd be running this track around a minute flat mark to a 101 mark. Just checked a couple of data sessions from laps, and it's running like 108s in this car. Now, saying that was the first time I've ever had this car here, but there's a couple things, key takeaways right away. That is that the car has massive brakes. So we got 0-1 brakes on this car and not enough tires. So when you're going into corners, you're finding that you're constantly locking up tires, or ABS is locking up tires. And that is because your brakes are overpowering your tires. So step number one is obviously getting more tire on this car. Like, it's running up front like a 300 treadwear tire. And as I said, it's 0-1 brakes. So I mean, it's got brakes. So yeah, ideally I'd like to see like a 315 up here. I'd like to see almost a full slick up on this corner. I'd actually like to see 315s in all 4 corners, like a squared setup. Aside from that, there was a little bit of brake fade coming into some of the corners there, saying we got big powerful brakes. Yes, the fluid's questionable. That's something that I didn't really do my part on checking before I came out here, which was my bad. But I'd like to have obviously put fresh fluid in this car to try to eliminate that. It does have stainless steel lines and it's got brakes for days, but once again, if you boil fluid, you boil fluid. Another change that I'd like to make to this car is me being a big guy, I'm 6'5", right? So I take up all the legroom in this car. I would actually like to get a smaller diameter steering wheel in this car, just because when I'm driving, my legs are bent up a little bit, right? Like a C6 is one of the roomier Vettes, but once again, at 6'5", there isn't a whole lot of room. So I would like a smaller diameter wheel, which I find would probably let my hands flow a little bit easier in the cabin of the car. Aside from that though, like, yeah, I didn't actually have any cooling or temp issues. Now saying that, I only went out for a few laps. I think I did 4 or 5 laps, and it's not that hot of a day here today. So, I mean, that's good. But yeah, we'll take it out for another session and see how we do. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so after that second session, data shows it's down to like a 107 and then a 105. So we're picking up the pace a little bit, but once again, I would still like a different steering wheel in this car. As I said, it doesn't really have enough room. The other thing I'd like to change is I'd like to change the seat in this car too. A lot of people online complain about the C6 seats, and I mean, I agree with them. Now, luckily, I'm pretty big, so I somewhat stay in here, but ideally, I would actually like a seat to try to get me a little bit lower to the ground, hopefully increasing a little bit of leg room and a little bit more headroom. Now, it's not terrible. Like, I do have a bit of room whenever I'm sitting in here, so I mean, it's not terrible. But yeah, on that session, again, same thing. The front tires are just washing out. The car doesn't want to turn in. I mean, maybe it could use a front sway bar too, right? Front sway bar and big tires. It needs big sticky rubber. I mean, any way you slice it, if you're trying to go fast on a road course, you need tires. That's as simple as that. Like, tires honestly will make up seconds a lap on this car, and maybe that's what I'm gonna have to look into, is maybe running, as I said, maybe look at, see if I can buy maybe an Apex SM10 set of 18-inch squared on this car or something like that. But you know what, we'll take it for another session while we're here today and see how that one goes too. So let's go check that one out, I guess. Actually, you know what, I'll go show you my old Vette, because my old Vette's here. Let's go take a look at that. All right, guys, so here's my old Vette. This is a 2001 Corvette Z06, and I bought this car because initially I had thought in my head I wanted a double duty track street car, right? But this car is caged, and honestly, as time went on, I just started to think to myself, there's no way I can drive this thing on the street. It's just too crazy to drive on the street. And on top of that, we put the big arrow on it. So that's got a 9 Lives Racing front splitter and the 9 Lives Racing deuce, the big deuce, the dual element wing on it. And like, this thing just screams heat score to try to drive down the streets of Winnipeg. So we never ended up really streeting this car. Now, this car's got some goodies too. This car is sitting on full coilover conversion. It's got fat coilovers in it, as well as the sway bars front and rear. And it's running these 18 by 10.5 Speedline wheels in all 4 corners. So these wheels are nice because they clear big brakes. And as you can see, this car has big brakes on it. It's got Wilwood 6 pistons up front and Wilwood 4 pistons in the rear. So yeah, 18 by 10 and a half in all 4 corners, 315 3018 squared setup for Hoosier A7s on this car. I mean, you need tires if you want to go fast, and that's the problem with that blue Vette, is it doesn't have tires. This car as well has an LS3 swap with a hot cam in it, so it's about 480 horsepower. It's a crate engine that went into this car. And yeah, it's set up to go fast. It's set up to do one thing and one thing well, and that is road courses. See, I need this for tires. This is a 305 3019 Supercar 3R. That's a big 100 treadwear tire. That's what the Vette needs. This one's though, these ones are pushed a little bit too hard. These ones, the shoulders or the inners are gone. That's track alignment for these Z01s. What's going on, Richard?
Get your helmet on, buddy. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Open lapping.
Session 3, here we go.
No pressure.
Man, I must say this is the best part of the day. And no, I'm not an alcoholic, I swear. Cheers, Richard.
Cheers.
Good day, huh?
To the shoulders.
To the shoulder. Yeah, the arms are sore today, huh?
We're no tall boys today because the shoulders can't handle. It's just a violent ride.
You usually like to pound a tall boy, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good day though, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Cheers.
absolutely. You know, we had some fun. I got to get some stuff sorted out with this blue car and get it dialed in, but we'll get there. We'll get there, you know. We got all season. So, Case, how was your day?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you have fun?
Still the fastest.
You're still the fastest? Okay, get the hell out of here. All right, guys, day 2 here. I didn't think there was going to be a day 2, but you know what? You go to the track once and it kind of hooks you and you have to go again. So, met up with a friend this morning right here. Hold on. There we go. We're going to go to the track again with the Vette, and I got my buddy here, Dave, who's got this beautiful NSX, and this car is coilover converted, has big spoon brakes on it, and he's been bugging me to go on a track day. So I said, that's fine, I'll go back to the track. I said, I might need to bleed some fluid or whatever. Luckily, he's a master mechanic, so I'll get him to help me out with that. We'll do a fluid swap on this car when we get to the track, and it's not going to solve my tire problems, but, you know, anyways, there's Dave. What's going on, Dave?
What's up?
What's up?
Ready?
Yeah, of course I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Oh man, I love the sound of this Camaro. This thing sounds just wild. So So we got the Vette up in the air, and luckily I have guys like Dave Salachuk in my life to help a brother out. He's shaking
Come to the track, Dave.
Just come to the track, Dave.
No problem.
Come work at the track, Dave. But yeah, so we're gonna bleed the brakes. We're gonna put in, what do we got here today? I think we got 660 fluid. Yeah, so we're gonna put in fresh fluid just to make sure all is well. But yeah, these are the big ZR1 brakes up close. Big 2-piece racing brake rotors and massive calipers in all 4 corners. Thanks, Dave.
Those are bigger than the ones on my front.
Those are bigger than your fronts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like massive.
Yeah, they are pretty big.
The lower part, and I can switch it all around.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
How's the brake coming? How's the brakes coming along?
I love coming out to the track and not racing.
Okay, so brakes are bled. We're gonna go for another session, see if it's any better now. And yeah, hopefully it's a little bit better. Hopefully the car wants to stop now.